Good morning. My name is Baba Anthony, and I am Nawo with Okamaransode Temple here in Miami, Florida. Let us begin with our morning prayers. Lolo me, cool, peaceful water, pure, tranquil water. The path the vulture takes from earth to heaven, the path the vulture takes from heaven to earth. It is demanding. These are Ifa's declarations to Orunmila. I'm going to take Olomi Tutu, the owner of Cool Waters, his wife. Ifa says it is an abomination. It is also taboo in Ile Ife. Irigialo will never allow Olomi Tutu to die cruel, cheap death. Olomi Tutu and death have entered into a covenant. Ashe. Cool road, cool home, cool issue. Ashe. Ibashe, Olodumare Obatala, Ibashe Orunmila Lady Queen, Ibashe Akoda, Ibashe Asheka, Ibashe to my Ori, Ibashe to all the Irunmole on the right hand side of Olodumare, Ibashe to all the Irunmole on the left hand side of Olodumare, Ibashe to my mother Cecile Smith, Ibashe to my father Junior McFarland, Ibashe to my Lou Jesus Montero, Ibashe to my Louis Bona, Yalavila, Ibashe to my Baba Ifa Kola de Ibashe to Chief Shalaba de Popola, Ibashe to Baba Amos, Ibashe to Baba Jose, Ibashe to Baba Ramin, Ibashe to Baba Felix, Ibashe to all my brothers and sisters and Ifa and Orisa who have shared their knowledge with me. Ibashe to my wife, Ibashe to my children. Ashe. Orunmila, as we begin our prayers this morning, I'm asking for your support for all the members of Okamansode Temple and for those who are listening to us to please come and support us in all of our endeavors. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Ogunda Warring. The ocean is filled to the brim. Lagoon is filled to capacity. Asan's going to Asan. Asan's going to Asan. The owl at the top of the rock. The elders start over the mountain realized was no longer favorable. They used their mustaches to cover their faces, spread their beards firmly over their chest. These are the declarations of Ifa to Isheshe and to the head of every oral cult in Ile Ife. What is one's Isheshe? Olodumare is one's Isheshe. It is Isheshe we have to peace before appeasing any Orisha. Once Ori is one's Isheshe. It is Isheshe we have to peace before appeasing any Orisha. One's mother's one's Isheshe. It is Isheshe we have to peace before appeasing any Orisha. One's father's one's Isheshe. It is Isheshe we have to peace before appeasing any Orisha. Male genital organs, one's Isheshe. It is Isheshe with peace for appeasing any Orisha. Female genital organs, one's Isheshe. It is Isheshe with peace for appeasing any Orisha. Please let's appease Isheshe. It is Isheshe with peace for appeasing any Orisha. Isheshe is the father of all the Tutu. It is Isheshe with peace for appeasing any Orisha. The Isheshe of my mother's lineage. The Isheshe of my father's lineage. May they have a say in all that we do. It is Isheshe with peace for appeasing any Orisha. If I pray and I ask for the support of both our mother and father lineage to come and support us in all of our endeavors. Without them, we would not be here. I ask for them to help us to remove death, sickness, litigation, loss, contention, all negative things from our lives, and to support us so that we see long life, good spouse, good children, all Irate in life coming to bless us always. Ashe. Otura-Irete. To show gratitude upon gratitude is the hour of all gratitude. To display benevolence upon benevolence is the hour of all benevolence. Whoever does not show gratitude for yesterday's benevolence, such a person will not receive today's gratuity. These are the declarations of Ifa to the 401 Irunmole when going to marry Opwe, gratitude, the daughter of Orisa-Gbowuji, Obatala. They also declared the same to Orunmila when going to marry Opwe, the daughter of Orisa-Gbowuji. I am grateful. I received my gratuity. I am grateful for yesterday's favor. I shall receive today's gratuity. Otura-Irete, I am very grateful. Ashe. Awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, oh, awa bure. Adupe anao aobore toribo olodumare awadupe awabure awadupe o awabure adupe anao aobore toribo oriemi awadupe awabure, awadupe o, awabure, adupe anao, awabure, toribo, Irunmole, awadupe, awabure, Awadupe o awabure. Adupe ana awabore tori bole gunosa. Shit. Irosune tutu. Pounded yam without soup can be difficult to consume. This was Ifa cast for tutu, propitiation, the child of Obatala, Orunmila. He whose attitude was not acceptable. He was full of bad character. He whose bad attitude prevented him from coming to Ifa's domain. Now we have come to solicit on behalf of Itutu. We have come to beg on behalf of Itutu. Father, please be patient and forgive this provocation. We have come to beg on behalf of Itutu. Orunmila responded that those of you have come to beg on behalf of Itutu. Those who come to solicit on behalf of Itutu. How many children does Ifa have that he would cast one out? Those who come to beg on behalf of Itutu. Ashe. Ofumeji. Hepa Odu. The king who molds human beings, the king who molds human destiny, the king who supports and assists human beings, the king who molds human character, the king who molds human beings is the name given to Orisa-Gbowuji. The king who molds human destiny is the name given to Orunmila. The king who supports and assists human beings is the name given to one's Ori. The king who molds human character is the name given to Olodumare. Orunmila, I call you by your formula, which is known as Epa Odu. You are the ones who help in organizing one's life to be fruitful. You are the ones who help in organizing one's life to be rewarding. Please come and help me organize my life, for it to be blessed with wealth, for it to be blessed with children, for it to be blessed with all the good things of life. It is impossible to see the depth of the sea. Do not let the world see evil in me. Do not let me be disgraced. It is impossible to see the depth of the river. All what I am doing, do not let human beings dig up evil in me. Orunmila, I call you by your formula, which is known as Hepa Odu. Please let my matters be fruitful and rewarding. Ifa, as we work on a daily basis to try to improve ourselves, to find success, I'm asking for the support of Olodumare. I'm asking for the support of my Ori. I'm asking for the support of Orunmila. I'm asking for the support of Orisa-Gbowuji, so that they come to help us to remove death, to remove sickness, to remove litigation, to remove loss, to remove contention, remove all I will from our lives, so we may find success with long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, and all array of life to allow us to always move forward, never to the side or backwards, Baba. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Oh, Ashe, Torah. Tiny of the feet of Tubu. Strive command is not big enough to be used as headgear. Had it been enough to use as headgear, I've taken home and adorned my head with it. These are declarations of Ifa to Awure-Ala. We're going on a spiritual mission in Ijebu land. We call on the locust bean seller and pay her money. We call on Awure-Ala with respect in Ijebu land. Oshe Awure-Ala is a good awo. Ashe. Kekani Bagisa, the actual strikes the tree, is the one who cast the Ifa for a rumor that was going to see Vibanashe from Olodumare. If and now says that we shall be wealthy, we shall surely be wealthy. Kekani Bagisa, in the mouth of Nawo reside Vibanashe, in the mouth of Nawo. If and now says that we shall have good spouse, we shall certainly have good spouse. Kekani Bagisa, in the mouth of Nawo reside Vibanashe, in the mouth of Nawo. If and now says that we shall have good children, we shall certainly have good children. Kekani Bagisa, in the mouth of Nawo resides Ibanashe, in the mouth of Nawo. If and Nawo says that we shall have all the array of life, we shall certainly have all the array of life. Kekani Bagisa, in the mouth of Nawo resides Ibanashe, in the mouth of Nawo. Ashe. Ashe Orisha lenumi o, Ashe Orisha lenumi. Bobo ti mo ba mama wi o, Irunmole oba Ifa oba o, Ashe Orisha lenumi. Ashe Orisha lenumi o, Ashe Orisha lenumi. Bobo ti mo ba mama wi o, Irunmole oba Ifa oba o, Ashe Orisha lenumi. Timo duro, Timo sure. Timo bere, Timo sure, Timo kunle, Timo sure, Timo joko, Timo sure, Ireti su oritibo. Let us hold our worries. Ori laure eni ori eni laure eni moji lauro mofo mori ori eni laure eni ori eni laure eni ori eni laure eni Moji lowuro mofo mori ori eni laure yeni. Obo-Ire itahasu. Ifa ogba Ọlọ́run àti bàtí àjò. Ifa ogba Ọlọ́run ó ṣe àwò ẹ̀là Ifa ti gbọ́. Ifa, I come to pray this morning. I'm asking for your support to let us hear the words of the sermon today on gratitude and to allow us to have the ability to show gratitude for all good things that were done for us. Please come to support us to remove our egos so that we may hear the messages of today. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Good morning again. Boru Aboye. My name is Baba Anthony, and I am an Awo with Otura-Irete Temple here in Miami, Florida. Today's temple service is about gratitude. Right? Gratitude can be defined as the quality of being thankful, right? Readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. Right? So let's think about that. That's going to be the topic of today. This is such an important thing for us as Ifa and Orisha people, right? So much so that as part of our morning prayers that we do, we dedicate an area where we're showing our gratitude. We're showing our gratitude to the deities. We're showing our gratitude to those who have helped us. We are showing our gratitude, right? Most mornings or many mornings, I do sort of a shortened version of our morning prayers. As we have more Ifa temple services live and together with each other, those of you that are able to attend in person, we do provide a copy of our full morning prayer session that we go through, just so you can begin your practice at home. So let us get back to gratitude. So some things I want us to think about today, right? One, why should we be thankful? Why should we show gratitude? Two, how should we display our kindness, right? And another thought, I guess, or a statement is always being kind to others so that their gratitude is our blessing. Ashe? So let us start with the first Odu. This verse comes from the Odu of Otura-Irete. Otura-Irete. After consuming the ebo, the vulture refused to thank the owner of the ebo. Thank you for yesterday's favor is the profit one gains from being benevolent. These were Ifa's declarations to Ainya Kekeke, the offspring of the large extended lineage. She was advised to offer a bow. She complied. Ifa, I am grateful for the wealth you gave me yesterday. Otura-Irete o Ifa, I thank you very much. Ifa, I am grateful for the spouse you gave me yesterday. Otura-Irete o Ifa, I thank you very much. Ifa, I am grateful for the children that you gave me yesterday. Otura-Irete o Ifa, I thank you very much. Ifa, I am grateful for all Ire in life that you gave me yesterday. Otura-Irete o Ifa, I thank you very much. Ashe. So this first verse, it hits home. It causes us to think about just a few things. As devotees, we should recognize the good that is done for us. Right? In the case of this particular Odu that was just chanted, Ainya KKK was thankful for all of the different types of Ire that were brought into her life. Right? I am thankful for all of the Ire that I experience. Right? I hope you're thankful for all the Ire that you experience. But as this verse chants, this brings about for me all of the array that I am thankful for in my life. I'm thankful for having such a wonderful spouse. I'm thankful for having beautiful children. I'm thankful for having good work. I'm thankful for having a bed to sleep in. I'm thankful for having a good Baba Ifa, good mentor, good teacher. I'm thankful to be a part of a good community of Ifa devotees. I'm thankful to be here to be able to share the message of Ifa with you all. As we are thankful for what Ifa and Orisha have done for us, we need to be able to show our gratitude. That's the simple way of starting. Ashe. Let's go to another verse. This comes from the Odu of Orangumeji. He pa Odu, also known as Ofumeji. Okay. Doing good in half measure usually leads to failure to receive gratitude from those whom one assists. This was Ifa's declaration for Alade Oniwata Metu when going to cultivate the farm by the roadside. He was advised to offer a bow. He refused to comply. Had Alade known before it was too late, he would have spent his money to offer all the prescribed ebo. Ashe. Here's the story of Alade Oniwata Metu. Now, Alade Oniwata Metu was a very generous and very kind-hearted man. And one of the goals that he had for himself in his life was to assist everyone he could, right? Every person that needed something, he made it his job to assist them. He wanted to be known as a kind and benevolent man. And as a result of this benevolence, many people would often know that they could go to his home and visit him, right? They were never disappointed. It was always the place to go. Hey, I see you need something, brother, in town. Please go and visit Alade Oniwata Metu. He will support you. He will never say no. He will always do good for you. And the most interesting thing about Alade Oniwata Metu is that he would use almost literally everything he had and sometimes even borrow money to give out to others. He would even loan out his clothing if it was, points like, let me do good for you, right? I just wanted to paint this picture of who this man was. And so one day he decides to himself that he wanted to build a farm, right? So he thought to himself, if he can build a farm, then this would allow him to help more people. He can have the food and all the things that he needs. People came by, he would be able to support them even more. Then he thought to himself, okay, now I'm going to build my farm. Let me put it by the roadside so people won't miss it. There'll be passerbyers every day that'll come by. They'll see my farm and they know that they can stop and have something to eat. So Alade started to plan. He started to think about how he can do this, started to gather his resources and do the things he needed to do. In order to prepare for all this, though, he went to go and have Ifa cast. And he was always thinking, one, will I have enough to give everyone? And two, will it be successful? Will I continue to be even more blessed by helping, being able to help all of these people that came to see him? So the Awo casts the Ifa for him, and the Awo says to him, he says, you're going to be very successful in what you do. You're going to have plenty of food. You're going to have, the things that you need to provide people with what they need. But the message from Ifa that is absolutely important is that you need to do your offerings of one, offerings in Ebo, and then two, you need to make sure that you do everything wholeheartedly, like give in full. Don't try to give halfway. Alade Oniwata Metu thought to himself and says, okay, well, this sounds good. Is, if I'm going to have everything I need, why do I need to really offer the Ebo? I've always been a kind person. Um, and then he kind of thought to himself a certain kind of way. He felt that the owl said that he would, not be giving things fully, right? He always thought to himself, I've been giving people my clothes and everything I have. I always give fully. And so that kind of offended him a little bit. So he decided that he would leave. And he said, well, the owl says I'll be blessed with my farm. So I'm going to go ahead and just build my farm and do what I have to do. He never offered a bow. He left kind of upset. So Alade's life went on. He cultivated his farm by the roadside as he had planned. And things were working out pretty decent for him. He had plenty of food. Now, here was the challenge. He started to gain a lot more popularity, more food. People would say, oh, have you tasted his yams? Because yams were his produce that he grew. Have you tasted the yams that he had? They were so delicious. Now, here comes the challenge that Alade had. He had so many visitors that at one point he decided that he needed to get everybody to help everybody. He didn't want to run out. So he decided to start portioning things off. He says, okay, this is what I'll do. When people come, they're going to have to make a decision. Either they can have the yam to eat or they can have water to drink, but they can't get both, right? It wasn't like they had a water pump right there next to the street. He had to go and fetch water, and this was becoming really tiring for him. And so he kind of made that decision, I need to split these things up. So shortly after this, and he implemented these changes, folks started to, realize, okay, either I could choose food to eat or water to drink. Now, the thing with yam is that when you eat it, it starts to make you kind of thirsty, like you want something to drink, and it was hard to swallow it down. So it's kind of a hard choice to decide, am I going to eat some yam to fill my stomach, or am I going to quench my thirst with water? And so this is what was going on. And so he gained the reputation of being called, nobody can enjoy two things from Alade's farm. Think about that. Nobody can enjoy two things from Alade's farm. You either had to go and choose your food or your drink. So this is the reputation that he started to get. Now, one day, a particular man had come to Alade for help. He had gotten lost in the forest. He'd been wandering for about 4 or 5 days. He had no food or water, and he was begging with Alade for food and drink because he was hungry and thirsty. He begged, and Alade wouldn't budge. He says, no, you can either choose food or you can, get something to drink. Well, the man says, well, okay, if I must choose, it's been days since I've had anything to eat. I will have some food. I'll have some of your yams. So the man sat down and he started eating and he was already dehydrated. So the challenge of him even beginning or trying to produce enough saliva to swallow the yam was bad. The man found himself choking, and he ended up choking to death. Nobody could help him. Oh boy, this was the big to-do. People saw this. People were watching Alade. They saw that this man had now died at his farm, and Alade felt some type of way. He felt that he couldn't change his mind. He's like, I only have so much. I can't, if I need to provide for everybody, I have to split it up. I can't just give everything I have and then when others come, have nothing. He kept making excuses. Well, as people came to the farm, they started to, notice, they wondered about this stranger. And they became upset. How could Alade let this man die? Right? How could he cause, someone's life to go? Why would he not just give him some water, give him both? He saw the condition that the man was in, and the townspeople got angry. They started to treat Alade very poorly. They started to kick him, tease him. They abused him. They called him all kinds of names. Now, this is the same Alade that at the beginning, he says, I'm going to live my life doing for people. But then someone died in his farm based on a decision that he had made. The townspeople became so mad and so angry that they had taken Alade to see the Oba, the king, right? They took him to the palace. Alade narrated his story to the Oba, and he says, I try to help everybody, and I explained to the man he had to choose. So it was, really it was his fault. He should have chosen. Well, the Oba decided he had heard enough. He was upset with Alade and his decision to allow this man to die on his farm. Right? Alade was arraigned or charged, I should say, with murder. This was a bad situation that started off well-intentioned, right? A bad situation that started off well-intentioned. The advice was given to him during his Ifa consultation that he couldn't give halfway, that if he was going to show kindness, he needed to show kindness fully. That he was going to take care of visitors, he needed to take care of them fully. This is an important thing. This is an important thing because in this particular situation, Alade failed and ended up killing a man. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen to us, right? But as Ifa and Orisha devotees, we need to do our best to demonstrate our kindness fully. Because what can happen to us is that others will start to repay us with ingratitude, right? Even though we mean well by doing only halfway and giving only halfway, right? Others will start to look at us with lots of ingratitude, so much so that they will, start to say negative things or cause bad things to happen in our lives. And that is not what we want as Ifa and Orisha people. Our goal is to live the best life that we can. That's our goal. It's not to live our lives with challenges from others. Now, let's think about this and apply it to our lives for a moment. Let's think about this and apply it to our lives for a moment. There are many different situations that I tend to look at. One, it's, are we kind to those who have less than us? One day we may give $1 and be like, well, here I am doing my good deed. And sometimes that's how we think. Yeah, I gave my $1 to a homeless person. That's a good deed. And then the very next day, we'll walk through the streets as if they don't exist. Right? I've seen it happen. Let's bring it to our family, for example. Now, you have children. If you have children at home, now if one day you show your gratitude to one child or your kindness to one child and then not the other, that will cause that other child to develop a sense of resentment, right? You have one child who is thinking very fondly of you and then one who thinks they're being treated unfairly. That's not how we should live our lives. That's not how we should raise our children. Let's think about it with our friends. Right. I think you get the idea, but I'm still going to add this in there. We show kindness to, one set of friends and not another. That gives them the reason to speak negatively of us. right? This is a cause. If we're going to show kindness in our lives, Ifa says that we must show it fully. That way, people can return their gratitude. Right? That's an important way to be in life. Think about that. We do not want to end up living our lives like Alade Oniwatametu. We don't. So keep that in mind, right? Ashe. Let us go to our last Odu of today. And this comes from the Odu of Osameji. Osameji. Agbado o Yolua Koromo Lein Eshu. This was the Awo who cast Ifa for Obatala, who shall have Lanroye Eshu Odara as his son. He was advised to offer Ebo. So here we have a story of Lanroye, also known as Eshu Odara. He was an adopted son of Obatala in this particular verse. When the Irunmole were coming from Ikole Orun, otherwise known as heaven, to Ikole Aye, which we as earth, our life here, Eshu Odara was known as Lanroye. He went to Obatala and requested to be with Obatala, to stay with him while he was here. Obatala agreed. Now, Eshu Odara had moved into Obatala's home when they had arrived to be his son. They were living together as one family. And at this time, Obatala, I believe, was married to Giemu, right? Anytime Obatala had sent Lanroye on an errand, he would find an excuse or a reason to not do what he was sent to do, right? If there was something inside the house, Lanroye would pretend to have a headache or be tired or be sick. Sometimes he would simply run out of the house early in the morning and then come home when all the household chores were done. Obatala's wife, Yemu, she used to complain about Lanroye. But then after a little bit of time, she kind of got used to it. Right. She got used to it. The challenge was, at that time, I believe Obatala had a farm, and Obatala would ask him to go to the farm, right? He would take all of his tools and things that he needed to work on the farm, and he would hide them or toss them away, throw them in the stream. He would essentially show up and be like, what can I do here? I don't have my tools. I've been looking for them all day. So as you can guess, Lanroye was known as being quite mischievous. And Obatala did all that he could to tend for him, to treat him well, to show him continued kindness. Now, during this time, Obatala was sort of beside himself. He wasn't sure what to do, right? Obatala and Yemu had sat down and talked, and they discussed. And they thought to themselves, what do we do? How do we take care of this child who's come to live in our home? We love him. We care for him with all of our hearts, but we just don't know what to do. He would never help. He would always create challenges. They were beside themselves. However, Obatala and Yemu, being who they were, it never stopped them from continuing to show their kindness to Lanroye. To a certain point, they just sort of like, okay, well, if he's not going to do it, we'll just do it. There's no use in fighting them. Right? They just pushed on. So as this went on, Lanroye, he started to analyze the situation. It was almost like he hit a point. He got a little bit older, and he hit a point in his life where he started to see all of the good things, that everything he tried to do or to get away with, like, he was never met with anger. He was never met with poor treatment. His adopted parents made him feel special, made him feel wanted, right? And so he thought to himself, he's got to do better. I've got to do better. How can I treat these people who love me so much with such poor practice? How can I treat them this way? So he decided that he would, it was time for him to do better. It was time for him to bring blessings into their lives. And he sat and he thought about it, and he analyzed, and he thought to himself, he's like, okay, all right, here's what I'll do. So he starts to plan. He gathers up all of his bags, all of his things that he needed, all of his tools. And very early in the morning, Obatala came, as he normally does, to wake up Irunmole and says, hey, let's get ready. Let's go to the farm. We're going to do some work. That morning, Irunmole woke himself up. He was like, okay, Baba, I'm ready to go. Obatala was taken back. He was like, you sure? He'd already gotten so many headaches on trying to get him to go. Right? Obatala says, okay, let's go. He went and he helped Obatala pack up all the cutlasses, all the hose. They brought him in the basket, right? And told Obatala that he was ready before he didn't want to eat breakfast. He was just like, let's just go. And Obatala was still questioning himself. He says, is he playing tricks on me again? Is there something I'm missing? Obatala didn't. He says, okay, if he's gonna be real, I'm gonna take it for what it is, and let's go. Let's continue on. So they went on, and Obatala agreed with him. He says, let's go to the farm very early in the morning that day. Let's get it done. Now, on the way to the farm, Irunmole had told Obatala that he needed to use the bathroom. He's like, Baba, I need to use the bathroom. Let me step into this bush, and I'll be right out, please. Obatala says, of course. He says, but please don't be too late in joining me on the farms. We have lots of work to do. Obatala continued on his trek. Irunmole went about his business. Now, Irunmole was still had tricks in his hand, right? He had all of his tools and all of his things that he had with him. He takes off. As soon as Obatala was out of sight, he takes off towards the town, towards the marketplace. As he got to the marketplace, he put himself in a position where people could see him, where he was out in the open. And as soon as he saw people coming, making their way towards the market, he began to sing a song and throwing his spiked baton sideways in sort of like a really menacing, scary manner, right? And as he was there, he started to sing a song, and the song translated goes, please allow Bara to enter the house. If you refuse to allow Bara to enter, don't you see the baton carried by Irunmole? Anyone who is offered good ebo, Eshu will support such a person. He or she shall be blessed with wealth and children. Eshu shall support them. He or she shall trade and succeed. Eshu shall support them. La topa, Eshu gongo. La topa, Eshu gongo. So he continued with his song, with his music. But the fact that he was sort of swinging his baton the way that he was, this gave people two options in their minds. They're thinking to themselves, okay, if I refuse to do ebo, I'm going to get the wrath of Eshu. But if I offer ebo, my business and my success and my home are going to be good. What do you think they chose? Right? Everyone's like, okay, we need to make sure that we've offered an ebo and that we've given all of our offerings. We've done everything. So people started offering their ebos. They started to bring their items to Eshu. And those of you that don't know Ifeanyi Orisha, when we do our offer our ebo riru, we bring our ebo to Eshu first after we're done, Right? We do our prayers, we do our Eboriru, we do our ceremony, we bring that to Eshu, and Eshu takes what is his. Right? People started to split up their profits. They started to bring them to Eshu. They started to take everything to try to, they were looking for success in their life. So they started to bring all these things to Lanroye. As they came to him, Lanroye instructed them. He says, please bring them to Baba Obatala's house. Yemu will be there. His wife will be there. She will accept all these offerings that you come to bring. So Lanroye kept slinging. La topa, eshu gongo. La topa, eshu gongo. Swinging his baton. People were coming, bringing their items. They started to bring, and Obatala and Yemu's house was filled with all good clothing, money, all good things. Right? Now, let us not forget about Obatala. Obatala had went and he worked on the farm the entire day. And he was kind of beside himself because he woke up that morning and Lanroye had promised that he had changed. He had promised that he would be there. He had all his materials and he was supposed to show up to help. Obatala was upset. He was angry. He was tired. He was determined that when he got back to the house that day, he was going to let Lanroye have it. Now, the challenge is when he got home, he saw all of these really amazing sights. People were buying and selling in front of his home. His house was filled with jewels. People were coming to sing praises and to leave offerings. Obatala was beside himself. He kind of almost forgot why he was angry. He was like, what's going on? He finds Yemu. He says, what's happening? Tell me what's happening. She explained that this was all due to Lanroye, right? Lanroye had gone to the town and promised to support all of those who offered their abo. He promised to support and do good. And all of the good things that they brought to Lanroye, they delivered here to us. Right? Now Obatala's home was now filled with riches. That was Lanroye's blessing to Obatala for his continued kindness and for his continued patience. Lanroye, the recalcitrant one, was the one who made them wealthy and successful. Ashe. So let's think about this story for a moment, right? We have Obatala, who showed his continued kindness and patience with Lanroye. He showed his continued patience with his adopted son. As a teacher, I think about this story often because I see my students, sometimes I see them as my adopted children. No matter how challenging they are, right? We still have to show kindness. No matter how challenging a stranger is, a student, a friend, a family member, we must do our best to show kindness. When I think about students and challenges that I've gone through as a teacher now myself, the most amazing times where in my career so far that I can tell you about are times when I get a letter 6-7 years after a student graduates. And it's a letter expressing their gratitude from what I could teach them and for the kindness that I showed to them. That to me is more great than money, than big house, big car. It's knowing that I affected someone's life. It's knowing that I brought goodness to their life, and now they're showing their gratitude to me. Right? That is a true blessing. And that's what I hope we all experience. Now thinking about myself as a child, thinking about myself as a child. I remember when I was in middle school and I had this math teacher who, let's just say, maybe I wasn't the most grateful student or the most kind student or the most organized student, right? I didn't do all my work. And for some reason, it seemed or felt like I gave this math teacher such a hard time. And to this day, I will blame it on the hormones of being a 7th grade boy at that time of my life and the inability to understand what was happening, right? Well, some years later, like I thought to myself, I need to go back and tell him thank you for his patience. Thank you for his hard lessons, right? Thank you for calling me on my bluff. Thank you for everything that I went through. And so I went back and I said, thank you, right? Thank you for putting up with me and for me being a challenging student and you doing your job and doing it well. Sometimes we need to do that. We need to show our gratitude. It's absolutely important part of what we do. Now, as I bring this together, these are things I want us to think about. Ifa tells us that gratitude is an important part of our practice as Ifa and Orisha people, right? We need to show gratitude. We need to show gratitude for all the good things that were done for us, right? Let's start here. We show gratitude to our elders for teaching us. We show gratitude to our parents who have raised us. We show gratitude to our siblings who have supported us. We show gratitude to our friends who have been there for us. We show gratitude to Olodumare for blessing us. We show gratitude to the Orisha who lift us up daily with our lessons, right? Science says that showing gratitude decreases stress and causes our brain to change for the better. Let me say that one more time. Science says that showing gratitude decreases stress hormones and causes our brain to change for the better. So I leave you with this challenge. Let gratitude become part of your life as an Ifa and Orisha devotee. Let it become part of what you do. Let it become part of your being. Because with that gratitude, your life will become better. Your life will become less stressful. And it brings me back to the Odu that we use in our morning prayer. To show gratitude upon gratitude is the awo of all gratitude. That is the secret of all gratitude. To show gratitude upon gratitude is the awo of all gratitude. Ashe. Aboru aboye. Thank you for joining me for today's Ifa Temple service. I am thankful for those of you who join us each and every week. I'm thankful for those of you that are part of the temple. I'm thankful for my family members and for my elders who are supporting me with Ifa education. Without it, I wouldn't be here. All those people that were around me, I wouldn't be here. And the same goes for all of us at home. Let us be thankful for those who have helped us in our life so that we may receive the blessings from Olodumare. As a quick announcement, next week, we're going to have another live temple service. We had live temple service last week, and we'll have another one next week. Or last week we had one. Next week we'll have another. So I encourage you to please come out and join us to be a part of the Ifa temple service. Learning in person is one of the best ways that we can practice Ifa. Learning together as a community is an amazing way to practice Ifa. So I encourage you all to please come and join us if you can. I hope you have a wonderful week. Aboru, aboye, aboshishe oboato.